Welcome to this awesome expert session with my special guest today, who is Tabatha Perry, who is an expert in helping you organize your business and be more productive to get more stuff done. Today, specifically, we are going to talk about the 5 things that are distracting you and taking away from your productivity. And obviously, we want to get more stuff done. So, what better way to get more stuff done than to talk to someone who is an expert at doing just that? So, with that being said, please help me welcome our very special guest, Tabatha Perry. Tabatha, welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Hello. Thank you. Well, it's my pleasure. Very excited.
That's awesome. I am super happy to have you here, and I think that this will be a very valuable uh, conversation that we can have about what those things are that are taking away from people's productivity. And
hmm
that's awesome. I'm looking forward to it. So, if you would give us a quick intro as to who you are, and let's hop right into it.
Absolutely. So I am a life coach and I help people, like Jim said, become more productive. And so how I do that is by really kind of digging in to who people are, what they want, and then we figure out the specific strategies that work with their personality to get what they want. And so what I found is when you're really looking towards getting towards this goal, there's a lot of things that hold us back, right? Internally and externally. So it's really fun to like work with clients to just kind of hear what their dreams are, but then also come up with really specific strategies for them that may look completely different than someone else that they work with or even like their spouse, right? Because we're all so unique. So I really love getting to know people and who God created them uniquely and then make sure to build on those gifts.
That's very true. Yeah. Everyone kind of has like their own unique situation and their own unique skill sets. So it's definitely important to dive into those and figure out ways to make it perfect for you, right? To really optimize your procedure and your process and your business. Do you think that there are some things in common though that most people struggle with as far as being more productive?
Absolutely. And so when I work with people, there's like kind of five main things that come up that I wanted to talk about today. And so with those five things, I also have five strategies to kind of work through it, right? Because it
Awesome.
doesn't really help to like identify what the things are that are bad, but then like not have solutions. So I'll come up with some strategies too. So the first thing that I find, and Jim, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but you create a super long list of things you want to do, and then you don't get to it.
Yes.
You don't get to check it off, right? And we almost wear this like badge of honor of like, I have these really long to-do lists. I'm so busy and productive and I'm going to get this all done. But then you don't do it. And what happens is you lie to yourself. You know you're not going to get it all done. I know I'm not going to get it all done, right? And then that erodes trust with yourself. So the first thing that really prevents people from being productive is just starting out the day lying to yourself that you're going to get it all done.
Yeah, it's very true. I think a lot of people they hold on to this feeling of they they think that they're being productive, but really they're just being busy. And then the other part of that is making sure that you're going to be able to find someone who's going to be able to do what you want to do because they're stuck on this feeling of no one can do it as well as I can. So
Mm.
you have to take on all the burdens yourself. But that's definitely something that's going to hold a lot of people back from getting more stuff done. Is that, like you said, that badge of honor of being busy? It's
Mhm.
it's definitely something that people need to let go of.
Yeah, yeah. And my strategy for that is literally have a one thing, like one thing you commit to doing that day. And it not like a huge project, right? Like a simple thing, because every time that we follow through with the one thing that we say we're going to do, we build trust again. And then that makes us more productive because being productive is really just getting results. And we don't really get results if we're feeling bad about ourselves.
Right.
So that's been something that has been really helpful for me is just creating like simple tasks each day. Like, okay, clean out my email box. Yes, nailed it. Now I can like go do the hard thing of like reaching out to people, right? And putting yourself out there. But something that you said, Jim, that I want to like really touch on is like the delegation, right? If you don't have the time to do everything, there are resources like Legit,
Right.
right? And I actually just used it for the first time this week and it was awesome. I would have spent hours trying to perfect a PowerPoint. That is not my gifting, but I sent it off, and within 24 hours, it was created and it's beautiful, and I get to share it with people. So yes, knowing like what it is that your gifts are, and like just don't lie to yourself. Like it's okay to own, the things that you're good at and the things that you're not good at.
Right. Yeah, I'd agree. I think a lot of people, they, especially in this day and age, they want to feel like they can be the jack of all trades and they can do everything. But when you can really lean into exactly what your gift is, and what you're best at in your business, and be your authentic self in your business, that allows you to say, hey, I'm really good at sales. I'm really good at marketing. I'm really good at graphic design, whatever it is you're really good at. Then you can figure out, look at your list of all those other things that are on it that maybe you're not so good at, and then go find someone who is, right? There's a huge pool of talent, people who can do those things for you. You just need to look at your list and figure out, actually giving them to them.
Exactly. Exactly. So another hack for that, right? Not
Sure.
only just having like one simple thing to do is delegate. So exactly. So the second thing that I think is really important to be aware of that can really stunt our productivity is holding on to limiting beliefs. So myself am a perfectionist. And so there are a lot of limiting beliefs that I have to work through of things need to look a certain way, right? And so when you're able to actually like identify that and work through it, it's going to make it so much easier. And you're going to be able to actually be more productive because you're not holding yourself to a standard that isn't achievable. Another limiting belief can be that you don't have enough time. We all have the same amount of time. We just have to figure out what we're saying yes to and what we're saying no to.
Right. Yeah, I would agree strongly to that, for both, really. I think time is probably the most important one that people don't understand how to utilize properly. Because really, all of us have the same 24 hours. It's a matter of how we use them.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to make the difference. And I think, to that point, a lot of people will look at, um, they can grind it out, or they can work 18, 20-hour days because they're going to make the most of their 24 hours. But that's not efficient. It's not a good way to get more stuff done, because you're really, you need time to rest and time to recover and time to be your optimal, performing self. And to that extent, the way to get more time in the day is to add more people into the process. So again,
Mm-hmm.
that speaks to the first thing, doing what you're best at. Anything that you're not, is not a good use of your time, right? So if something that you can do, instead of you making your PowerPoint presentation, which could have taken you 6 hours to do, it took you 5 minutes to hand off to someone else, and you got that extra 6 hours back to do something else that
Mm-hmm.
you're better at. So yeah, I agree 100%. I think removing those self-limiting beliefs and utilizing your time more efficiently is a huge win for people to get more stuff done.
Absolutely. And actually, one of the things that you were just saying was another thing that I feel like is a theme with my clients that hold them back from being productive is that they don't rest, is that they go, 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 and they never recharge themselves. And that doesn't work. We are humans. Like we were created to take a Sabbath. And so we need to figure out what that Sabbath looks like. It's again going to be very different for you and for me, right? Like we have jammy days in my house. Like literally everyone stays in the pajamas and kind of just it's just low key, right? But that just fills our cup. It like re-energizes us when we're able to have those days. So one of the strategies that I suggest people do is when we feel like really drained of our energy, we actually can't even sometimes remember what gives us energy. Like what do I even enjoy doing anymore? And it's creating a list. I'm all about lists. So like on your phone, even just create a list of the things that bring you joy. And so when you're stuck and you feel drained, pop that list up and be like, you know what? I can go have a jammy day, or I can go listen to music because that really fills me up. So that's been something that's been really helpful. I'm curious, what's something that like fills you up, Jim?
Something that fills me up. There's actually two things that I really enjoy doing. One is graphic design. I really
Mm,
enjoy creating things, because For some reason, I have this vision in my head of what something should look and function like, and I enjoy getting it out of my head onto a screen or onto paper. So I do enjoy the graphic design part. Um, I don't do a lot of it. I just, again, productivity, I can't spend my time doing that all day long. My time is better used doing other stuff. But there are some times where I will just sit there with some music on when it's nice and quiet, everyone's asleep, and I'll
Mhm.
just create because it allows me to just zone out and just let it all out, which is fun. Um, I think my other one is really spending time with my kids, which might sound silly, but I've learned a lot about being an adult by spending time with kids. Um, and I think one of the most important things is, and this actually speaks to the self-limiting beliefs that the self-limiting beliefs thing we were just talking about. When you're a kid, you don't think about what's possible and what's not. You just want to do
Mhm.
something, so you just go and try and do it. And as an adult, a lot of times we look at stuff like, oh, it's not possible, or I'll never be able to do that, because you keep thinking about your self imposed limits and what you can and can't do. But as a kid,
Mhm.
you don't. So, they fascinate and they fixate on these ideas of what they want to do, and they focus on being able to do them, and then they don't give up until they get them. But as adults, we stop doing that for some reason. So it's enjoyable to me to spend time with my kids because you can look at the pure version of what a human brain wants to do, what you want to do, what you want to achieve, because they're not,
Yeah.
they don't have 30 years of being told, no, you can't do that. So it's cool to be able to look at that and then think about how you can apply that in your own life and how you can remove those beliefs and how you can just
Mhm.
get more stuff done by just believing in yourself and just doing it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And that's so good. And I feel like we're like, I don't know, we're on the same brainwave because that leads me into the next thing is like who you surround yourself with, right? Because I have a hard time believing in myself sometimes. And so I need other people's faith in me. I need other people's positivity to help move me along, right? Because sometimes those limiting beliefs and our brain just gets so full of things that we just need people to speak into us. And so whether it's, our kids that we can be inspired by or, some good friends or being part of a coaching group, just to like pour into you is just important. And so, like, the thing that can really decrease your productivity is if you find yourself surrounded like by negative Nancy's, right? By the
Right.
people who are just in like the swamps of sadness and you're just constantly trying to help them up. But which is fantastic, but make sure you're not just helping everyone up, that you have other people that are raising you up and encouraging you and telling you that you can absolutely do it.
Yes. Yeah. Having a strong, positive community who's all going the same direction is, I can't speak to its importance enough. And that's one of the things that we try and do here, and not even try to do, we do here, is
Mm.
have that community of people who are helping each other, giving actual value, not looking out for themselves, but being able to help each other grow is such a cool thing to do because in a lot of cases, when you are actively helping other people grow and actively helping people do better, it always comes back. And I think on a
Mm.
personal level, on a business level, and even as a business principle, if you run your business, whatever it is, whether it's coaching, whether it's graphic design, whether it's marketing, by actually trying to get the whole team a win, by trying to get your clients to actually do better, not just
Mm.
you deliver a service because you want your $5 or your $50 or whatever it is, um, but by actually wanting to see your client succeed and by wanting to see the people around you succeed, it creates this environment of everyone moving forward together. And yeah, I agree 100%. Having that community and having those people in your
Mm.
life, in your circle, who want to see you succeed, who want to see you level up, is such a game changer.
It really is. It really is. And there's that quote like, you're the average of the five people you spend the most time with.
Right.
And so just really kind of take a look at right at your like core group and be like, do I really want to be the average of that? Or like, heck yeah, I want to be the average of that. Like
Right.
that can just really give you a good perspective. And there's just, if you find yourself, you're like, man, I'm not sure like what to do with this. As adults, I think we also limit ourselves with our ability to make new friends. As someone who's moved over 20 times, I've had to make new friends. It's just been like survival. Um, and so I kind of maybe take for granted that ability to do that, where many adults forget that they have the ability to go and make friends. Just kind of like kids, right? You bring them to a playground, you're like, okay, go play with friends, like go make one. And it's expected. And I've literally had my kids when we first moved to Minnesota, they're like, Mommy, why are you sitting on the bench? There's a mom over there. Go be her friend. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Why am I
Right.
sitting on a bench? I'm going to go make a friend. So just knowing like who you surround yourself with and making sure that they're really kind of lifting you up is so important. So which kind of leads into the fifth thing that can really like decrease your productivity is this idea of doing hard things and just choosing not to do things because they're uncomfortable or hard, like making friends or contacting that client or whatever it is that you have in your life that you like you're wanting to be productive, but you just find that you just don't do the things because you just don't want to. And that is where we really have to choose to use like our toddler version of our brain or our adult version of our brain, right? And so many of us are just kind of really blessed with a really great life, and we don't have to be uncomfortable. But in a business, man, I'm constantly uncomfortable, right? And the more comfortable we get with discomfort, the easier it's going to be, and the more productive you'll be, and because your level of ability and your capacity will just continue to increase.
I truly agree. I think a lot of people, they look for the easy route. They look for what can I do that's going to get me money, that's going to get me a client with as little effort as possible, right? I don't want to have to go out there and actually make a YouTube video. I don't want to have to go out there and market for myself. I don't want to have to go out and put any effort. I just want money to rain from the sky, and I just want to be rich and live a comfortable life. But that's just not how it works. And I think when you can get comfortable being uncomfortable is when you truly get that spirit and that flow going.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it's a matter of practice and habit, and being okay with rejection, being okay trying and
Yeah.
failing. A lot of people, there's a stigma around failing where you don't want to get a loss. You don't want someone to say no to you. You don't want to get any type of negative interaction because you're afraid of that pain of hearing a no, of getting a client to turn down a proposal, or um, you know, of what you're trying to do not working out. But unless you try and are willing to try, it's never going to
Mm.
happen anyway. So being able to put yourself out there and have those interactions and being willing to do the work and being willing to fail is what's going to allow you to succeed. And I know it's like this weird thing that a lot of people don't understand because they only see what's right in front of them, and they only see the option
Mm.
of if I try, I might fail, or it might take effort. But when you're willing to actually put in the work and you're willing to have the option to fail is where you're going to succeed, because you're going to learn the things that don't work. You're going to get practice. You're going to learn how you can change your approach. You can change your business practice so you don't have that same issue again. And to bring it back to kids, when kids are
Mm.
learning to walk, they don't say, I fell down. Maybe walking is not for me. I'll just crawl the rest of my life. They just keep walking and falling and walking and falling and walking and falling until they learn to walk. Right? It's the
Yeah.
same thing. It's the same thing in
Yeah.
business, but people are afraid to fall. They just need to have the trust in
Mhm.
themselves that they can go ahead and succeed if they just don't give up.
Mm. So good. Yes, absolutely. So we talk a lot about productivity, but
Right.
it really is hard, right? Like all of these things that We have to push through to be productive. So on those days where we do nail it, like we need to give ourselves some credit because a lot of times we're kind of swimming upstream and we don't give ourselves enough credit of like, man, like I did it all. I served these people. I encouraged this person. It's just I don't celebrate myself well enough. I love to celebrate others, right? Sometimes we're just so much better at like celebrating other people than ourselves. And so my encouragement to people watching this is just to really like acknowledge your gifts and make sure to celebrate all of your wins.
Yeah, I agree. Personally, I'll agree with you in that. I don't celebrate my own wins enough. And I think part of that is the mentality of you always want to keep pushing yourself further and achieving more. So it feels like no matter what you've achieved isn't enough because there's always another layer out there. There's always another level you can level up to. But I do try and consciously make an effort to stop sometimes and just think about how fortunate we are to have the community we have, to have the things that we've accomplished in our life. Um, and, to look back on previous versions of ourselves from 2 years
Yeah.
ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, where we might not have done the things that we've done today, right? Because to go backwards a step, we've failed so much, we've tried so much, and we've failed so much that we've learned all these crazy things over the years. And unless you take the time to look at what you've accomplished today, you kind of lose that
Hmm.
perspective of, I'm where I am right now because I tried and failed for the past 10 years and I never gave up. But you have to celebrate that and you have to be cognizant of that fact. Otherwise, you may lose sight of the idea that you need to keep doing it because in 5 years from now, you'll look back on this version of yourself and be like, man, I'm so much better than I was when I thought I was great then. Now look at what I've accomplished,
Right.
right? But I think
Totally.
it's just a matter of taking the time to be conscious of who you are, where you are, when you are,
Mm,
and then keep going forward.
absolutely. Oh, yes. So good.
Yes. So I think that wraps up our 5 things that we can do to get more stuff done. And honestly, this has been a fantastic conversation, and I am sure that people got a lot of value out of this because I personally
Mm,
did. So I
mm.
greatly appreciate your time with us. I have one more question for you.
Okay.
If there were one piece of advice that you can give to someone to help them push themselves forward to a goal that they don't think that they can achieve, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one. Um, One piece of advice. Have a statement that you come back to that when you keep telling yourself you can't do it or you shouldn't do it, that it's truth. So for me, I'm a bold, strong, and courageous child of God. That to me helps me push through those limiting beliefs and like be successful. And so, like, have a statement about yourself that you can just kind of lean into to get you through those hard times.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think having that personal contract and really knowing who you are as a person is important because it also gives you something to fall back on, especially unfortunately in this world where people love to hate and they love to just
Mhm.
stir drama. Sometimes you get in your own head and you believe things that other people tell you. But if you truly know who you are and know what you're about, it's so much easier for you to understand. You could just shut those things out and just keep moving forward because you know who you are, and other people's opinions of that don't make a difference. So I
Yeah.
agree. That's awesome advice.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, thank,
So
thank
with that,
you.
I will let you get back to getting more stuff done on your
Okay.
busy schedule. So I thank you greatly for the time that you've spent with us, and
Absolutely.
that's all we have.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.